What's going on, Turbo community? Inside today's video, we're going to be diving into the 𝗕𝗢𝗚𝗘𝗏 token. Now, the first thing we're going to look at is just kind of an overview of the chart of Turbo so we can kind of see where the market cap is and where it actually has been in the past. Secondly, we are going to dive into some centralized exchanges, some of the two current ones that are listed, but there's also some things I want to talk about regarding that. Thirdly, we're going to dive into just some brief news that's came out recently here with Turbo. And then fourthly, where I know most of you are here for, the potential of Turbo, right? What can we see potentially in the future from the 𝗕𝗢𝗚𝗘𝗏 token? Now, if you're new to the channel, I want to say welcome. If you already a part of the community, I want to say thanks for coming back. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So before we briefly dive into the chart real quick, for those that don't know, Turbo existence of launch was back in May of 2023. Me personally, I got into Turbo August of 2024. So I was, a little over a year late of getting in. Now, the current all-time high for Turbo is roughly around 930 plus million. Now, if you do know the exact all-time high for Turbo, let me know down in the comment section, because a lot of times you kind of got to be there to actually see it, because a lot of times the charts will not actually record what that actual all-time high was. It will always be close to it. And I have the max chart pulled up here, and I have it set on market cap instead of price. And the reason why, just so I can show you what I'm talking about here, if you look and you go back basically a year ago, today is December 10th. This was December 11th last year. So literally a year ago, you can see the market cap at this time when Turbo was roughly around a penny and a half. We were sitting at roughly 930 million. So basically 70 million from $1 billion market cap. And this is another reason why I've said in previous videos that I see the potential for Turbo definitely being able to reach $1 billion plus market cap. Now, we're going to save that towards the last segment because I know you guys want to hear about the potential I can see for Turbo, but I just wanted to show you guys this. If you look at the overall chart here, it is a pretty healthy chart. Of course, we got some peaks and dips, which is something you're always going to see with cryptos that have been here for a long period of time that are still doing pretty well, right? So if we look here, we got May 3rd of 2023, right? And remember, Turbo was kind of the first token of its kind. Why do I say that? Because it was started with $69 using ChatGPT, right? It's not an AI agent type token, which is a lot of tokens we're seeing now. But before AI really got so prevalent in the crypto space, Turbo was one of the first tokens of its kind, right? Using AI to actually create the token, and then a community kind of took it from there. And so looking at that overall chart, I do want to show you another thing here real quick, right? If you look at the current market cap of Turbo, we're sitting around 146 million market cap according to CoinGecko here. Now, if we head over to Coin Market Cap, which we're going to kind of briefly touch on the centralized exchanges here, Turbo is listed on over 140 exchanges. Pretty much all of the major ones it is listed on. And as you can see here on CoinMarketCap itself, Binance, Coinbase, OKX, KuCoin, MEXC, Gate.io, right? It is on the major top exchanges, which is Binance and Coinbase, right? Now, the only other exchanges that I know Turbo probably would like to be on would be Bybit and Upbit. And then kind of one of the traditional markets, which kind of bridges the gap from crypto to traditional, would be Robinhood, trying to get listed on Robinhood. And if we look at a couple of the recent exchanges that happened for Turbo just this month, we have 𝗥.com. Now, these listings doesn't hold the same weight as a massive exchange like a Binance, like a KuCoin, like a Coinbase, right? But it is great to see Turbo listed on multiple exchanges. Why? Because this gives access to pretty much everyone in the world who can utilize crypto to get into the project, right? They're not limited to just 10 exchanges or 5 exchanges, right? And so this is good to constantly see Turbo getting listed on other exchanges. Now, I'm not pointing this out to say, hey, we're going to see price moving because of this. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying this gives it more visibility for potential investors. And then if you have a coin store here, which is the most recent listing, which happened yesterday, another exchange listing for Turbo. So again, as I showed you on CoinMarketCap, it's already listed on the major exchanges. That's not the problem at all. Major exchanges know this coin is legit, know this meme token does have potential, but again, we are still waiting to see what type of altcoin season are we going to see for this upcoming year in 2026, right? Now, I briefly want to share just a little bit of news. Now, this news isn't anything that's just gonna, shake the market or anything, but the reason why I'm actually sharing this news with you is just to show you, even though this project has been here over 2+ years, it is still grinding, it is still working, it is still doing different things and being creative to try to get his name out there, right? And so I think that is something you definitely want to see when a project has been here for as long as Turbo has, right? So one of the first things that recently happened, this was kind of mid this year, happened back in September. There is a scooter now, kind of like a powered scooter with the Turbo branding on it. Now, this isn't anything that's going to pump the price or anything like that. But again, this gives Turbo another way and another niche to kind of tap into to maybe get his eyes out there to more potential investors, right? And this is why I think this news is relevant, okay? The next thing here, we're talking about Turbo has their own Tangent wallet that's going to be coming out, right? And I know a lot of diehard Turbo holders would definitely be benefiting from this, right? Because a lot of people in the Turbo community have been here for quite some time. They are strong holders. And that's one thing you really want to see when you're dealing with a community, especially anything that's been over a year plus, because we know a year just in crypto is a long time. And so to see this project still well above 100+ million market cap, to see the project still growing, to see it's still doing things to get its name out there, to add more utility to the project is something you want to see when you're trying to stand behind a project. All right. And then the last thing here is they have an art toy, which kind of goes with the AI sentiment for Turbo, right? So I'm still curious to see how all of this is going to transition, but I think this will be appealing to certain people that's kind of in that particular niche, right? Just another way to kind of get Turbo's name out there, right? And I actually said the last thing, but that's not. This is the last thing I want to share, which is Turbo was recently listed on one of the biggest, Web3 shopping infrastructures. And for people that don't know what this is, real quick, if you see build the world first smart shopping in Web3 for both NFTs and physical products by establishing a bridge between DeFi and e-commerce, right? And so this gives another way to utilize the Turbo token and to get his name out there even wider, right? So this is why I wanted to share that news, because it shows this project is still doing things, right? It is not dead. It is still constantly working to figure out how can we be more beneficial to our holders? How can we be more beneficial to the crypto space? Now, the last thing I want to touch on, which I know most of you came here for, Mike, what is the potential of Turbo? Now, again, I know I don't need to say this, but you always want to do your own research, right? And you always want to think for yourself and take accountability for the actions you make, right? Never buy anything based off of what someone says as far as the potential. Make sure it aligns with what you see and what you want to do. All right. So when we look at the overall potential for Turbo, as I've said in a previous video, I see Turbo being a minimum $1 billion plus token, which if you look at the all-time high, we already saw it was around 930 million, right? Looking at CoinGecko here. And that was just literally a year ago, 70 million from $1 billion. And so if we look at the current market cap, we're at 146 million in market cap. And so we're roughly a 6x from the current all-time high. Now, what would a 10x look like for Turbo, which I do believe Turbo does have the potential to 10x from where it currently is. Not guaranteed, right? But this is just something I think if we can see an explosive altcoin season here in 2026, which a lot of people are expecting, right? A 10x from where we currently are, and I'm going to show you how I got that number, will be roughly 100, not 100, but 1.5 1.5 billion in market cap, right? We're roughly 6x from the current all-time high, which was just a year ago, and we're a 10x roughly away from a 1.5 billion market cap. And so real quick, for those that don't know, and I've showed this in previous videos before, basically what you want to do is you would take the market cap and then you're going to times it by the number of X's, right? So for the sake of this video, let's just say 150 million, even though it's at 146 million, we're just going to make this as easy as possible. So we have 150 million market cap, and if I times that by 6, which would be a 6x, that's going to give us 900 million, right? And this is why I said roughly a 6x, because it's a little bit over a 6x, but I'm just going to say roughly, right? It's not a 7x, but it is a little bit over a 6x just to get back to the current all-time high. Now, if we go back and take that 150 million in market cap, right, for just the sake of this video, times about 10, which is easy math here, we're looking at a 1.5 billion market cap. And this is how I've gotten this number, right? A 6x from the current all-time high, and we're a 10x, which I think is possible if we see a nice explosive altcoin season, to put it around a 1.5 billion market cap. Again, let me know down in the comment section. I know there are people who believe it can go a lot higher, but again, this is just something I can see in the somewhat short term if we see a nice altcoin season here in the next 60 to 90 days. So to do a quick recap on what we covered in today's video. So we looked at the chart of Turbo just to kind of see where it came from, where it's been, and where it is today. We looked at the centralized exchanges. We talked about how many exchanges is listed on, over 140 plus. You know, I showed you the top exchanges already being listed on, or already listed on, I should say, right? And the exchanges that is not listed on that are still kind of considered big for a project to get listed on, like a Robinhood, right? And then we also talked about some of the news for Turbo as well. And I talked about why I thought the news was relevant. And then number 4, we talked about what I know a lot of people came here for, is what is the potential that I see for the 𝗕𝗏𝗏 token, right? So let me know down in the comment section, what's your thoughts on Turbo? What was your favorite segment? And again, if you are new to the channel, welcome. If this is not your first time to the channel, thank you for coming back. I would definitely catch you guys on the next one. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, really helps me out a lot, and I will catch you guys on the next one.